Good evening. My name is Thurman Greco, and the title of our show is Take This Bread. And we have a really nice guest this evening. We have Amy from the library as part of our series on frugal living. But right before we go into the interview, I do want to tell everybody two things. One is that the lovely young lady who has a show after us will not be here tonight. But she hasn't just forgotten us. She has had a death in the family, and she has had to go down to the city to be with her family. But she should be back next week, and so we need to all think about her, offer prayers, Reiki, offer wonderful thoughts to help her get through this next week. And in addition, the food pantry has got we've got a couple of big things happening in our food pantry right now. First of all, we have got our first membership drive hit the post office this last week, and you were even helping with the mailers. It was a huge thing. We saturated Woodstock, Lake Hill, Shady, what used to be Willow, Glenford, West Hurley. Everybody has gotten something, so we're inviting everybody to be members of the Good Neighbor Food Pantry. And in addition, we are having a barbecue on September the 8th, and it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be at Andy Lee Field. Harriet Kazansky is in charge of it, and if you'd like to be on Harriet Kazansky's committee, you're certainly invited to do so. And so that pretty well takes care of our coming huge events. The library has something coming up, don't they?
A lot of things. This Saturday, actually, we have the volunteer party that the Friends host every year, and this year we'll be honoring Peggy and Richard Fusco, who are longtime library fair volunteers. So it's open to everyone. Starts at 5 p.m. So we'll do that, and then at 7 there's an event called Live at the Library where Spatter the Mud will be playing. So that's free music after the party.
Where who's going to be playing?
Spatter the Mud. They're great.
That's fabulous. Music events always have such cute names here nowadays. And don't you have a big event coming up in July?
Well, yes, a really big one. It's the 81st Annual Library Fair, which is Saturday, July 28th, the last Saturday of the month. From 10 to 5, rain or shine, but it's not going to rain. And we'll have the usual library fair things. There'll be music all day. We have books for sale. We have food. We'll have the white elephant table, and there'll be vendors. At noon, from what I'm hearing, we're going to have Maurice Hinchy's going to come, so we can give him a special honor at the library fair. And it'll be a great day. There's kids programs all day, different games, different performers. So hope everybody comes.
If somebody wants to have a table or a booth, what do they do?
If you want to have a table or a booth, you can call the library at 679-2213 and leave a message for Michael Perkins, who runs the fair, or you can call him at home. Let me see if I can remember his phone number, 657-6439. And Michael takes care of all those things. He's been running the fair for years, and that's why everything goes so smoothly.
Does it cost to have?
It costs.
Do you know how much it costs?
I believe it's $65 for a table if you're selling things. If you're a nonprofit, there's a lower rate. And if you want to be in nonprofit row, which is out, kind of in the parking lot, it's not inside the gates, that's free. So that's probably where the food pantry would want to be.
How early do you have to get there?
Get there early. No, we can't save spots or tables for anybody. So it's first come, first serve.
It's like, it's on a Saturday. We have to get on the outside like noon Friday.
Name your spot right away. Yep.
Because we definitely want to be there, because we've got a community awareness committee going now, and they've got all kinds of things that they want to do. But if we decide that we want to do something like to raise funds or something, to have a sale of some kind, we go inside and it's $65.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And this is the last Saturday in July.
Last Saturday in July, the 81st annual.
Now, is there going to be food there?
There's food there. The regular hot dogs and hamburgers, we have corn, local restaurants donate food, fruit salad, all kinds of things, hummus, sesame noodles, sweet treats.
So people can like buy a serving of hummus, or they can buy
Right, yeah.
a serving of fruit salad, or they can,
Mhm.
and that money all goes to the
It all goes back to the Friends of the Library, who
Oh, to the
run,
Friends of the
who
Library.
run the library fair, yeah, yeah.
What is the mission of the Friends of the Library? What is their job?
The Friends of the Library, they're a separate organization from the library. They're a 501c3, they have their own board, and they run the book sales and the library forums and the fair. And their mission is to have programs and events to raise funds to support the library. And that's what they do, and they do it wonderful, really wonderful. The book sales have started for this season, and there's no place to park. I mean, everybody's there, yeah.
Where
So-
do you get all those books?
They're donations. You would not believe the amount and the quality of donations that we get. Through the front door, every day, there's boxes. Really great stuff, yeah. And some of it we take into the collection and we keep, and then some of it goes back to the book barn for sale,
Wow.
yeah.
How many book sales do they have? It seems like there's one going all the time.
Once the season starts, they just started, they'll have their next one Saturday the 26th, May 26th, which is Memorial Day weekend. So the library's actually closed that day, but the book sale is still on from 10 to 3. And throughout the summer and the fall, they have book sales every other week. And then occasionally they'll have a Thursday book sale from 4 to 7, which is kind of a new thing that they've started doing for people who can't make it on Saturdays.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's a little bit more mellow, I hear. There's less people.
If it's from 4 to 7, is it back there in the barn?
It's in the barn, yeah.
So there are lights and things.
Right.
Wow. And that's just in the summer, or is that going to be all year round?
They go through the summer and part of the fall, and then towards the end, as it gets colder, I mean, there's no heat back there, so you can't be back there all winter long, but they, towards the end of the season, they have a half price sale, then they have a bag sale, and they have a giveaway day. And then the first Saturday in December is the annual holiday sale, which is actually held inside the library. And all those books that they bring out are gift quality books. So lots of us get our Christmas shopping started at that holiday sale in December.
Wow.
Which is that's when all the really good stuff comes out.
Wow. And this is something that the Friends of the Library, they've been around for years. Is that true?
Yes, I believe since the 90s.
Oh, that isn't
Yeah.
it isn't quite that long.
Right.
Did
They
they
became a 501c3, I believe, in the 90s. They incorporated that way.
Do you know what motivated them to go down that path of separateness?
Well, the way that the library is structured now, it's a public library. It's a district library. So we're considered more of a small government than a 501c3. So when you have a 501c3 organization working for you, they have access to different things because of their status, different kinds of grants and different kinds of funding. And it's like they're the PTA for the library. You know what I mean? Their mission is to raise funds to give to the library for our programs. They pay for also the summer reading program, which starts in June, the end of June, where we have performers during the evenings and different workshops and reading clubs and all that stuff. The Friends support that with all the money that they make during the year.
So what you're telling me is when we go to the library for a special event, the chances are it's really not a library event, it's a Friends of the Library event.
It's an event that the Friends are sponsoring
Right.
for the benefit of the library, yes.
And so they are really a very active part of the library, whereas the library is more about checking out books and things.
Not necessarily, because the library we have our own programs. You know, we have the story hours during the week on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. There's different story hours, and we have programs for kids during the year that aren't related to the summer reading program. And then we have book discussions and sometimes we have a writing workshop if we get a special grant for it. So there's a lot of programs that are library sponsored and run. So there's both. But the Friends enhance our services, beyond belief. It's really wonderful. I don't know what we do without them.
How does that work? Do they just come to you and say, hey, we just got a really good idea, we want to blah, 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 and you say, thank you very much?
How it usually goes is they say, what kind of ideas do you have and what can we do to help you do them? And I say, oh, that's blah, blah, blah. And they say, okay. They're very generous, and whenever we ask them for something, they always respond in a positive way because they're our friends. Right?
As an organization, are they open to new members?
Yes. They're a membership organization. They're always looking for new members. I'm not exactly sure what their membership scale is right now, but if you're interested, if you go to our website, woodstock.org, and you can click on Friends right on the top, there's all that information.
Wow.
To join. Yeah.
Now, you're talking about a summer reading program.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about the summer reading program?
Starts in the end of June, and it's run by Leslie Sawhill, who's our children's program coordinator, and she has special events like Uncle Rock is going to open up this summer, and Green McGregor will be there giving a puppetry workshop, and then after the kids do the workshop, they're going to perform for everybody at the library. Some years she has the guy who brings the birds, and the mad science guy. There's lots of different programs in the evenings. And what's really great is that people come early in the summer, so the families go out in the front lawn and have a little dinner first and then come inside for the library program, which is really great. When people use the front lawn like that, we just love it because it's really the only green space, in town like that. There's also, the kids keep track of all the reading that they do during the year, and then there's different reading incentives. So if you read a certain amount of hours, you get this kind of trinket or this kind of beaded something. And then at the end of the summer, you can get a summer reading program t-shirt, which is something that's been going on for ages, and every year they ask a new artist to design it, and I know that people have been collecting them, since their childhood to present.
Wow.
But everybody has to read to get the t-shirt.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's really great. It's really great.
And don't you have reading programs for like little toddlers and things?
Yep. All through the year we have a preschool story hour and a school age story hour. And then on Saturdays we have what we call family fun, which is all ages mixed together. And we're really seeing that we always call it story time, but it's really an early literacy program in a way, because they're being exposed to books and different authors. They're interacting with literature. They read stories aloud, and the kids interact, and there's usually a craft that has to do with whatever the theme is that day, and it's really quite lovely.
And do these events cost money? The reading
No, none of it costs any money. None of the story hours, none of the summer reading program at all.
Well, now you talk about crafts and things.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody do you ever take donations of things like beads and construction paper and different things like that?
Sure, yeah, to use in the programs, definitely. Yep. People can drop them off at the library anytime.
Do the children ever use anything with fabrics?
Occasionally, yeah. I think a lot of times the crafts are developed around the materials that we have on hand. We're pretty thrifty and creative, so Leslie comes up with some really great ideas with what's in front of her.
So that if one were to donate something, you may not have anything in mind immediately,
Mm-hmm.
but it would be used eventually.
Right, in the future, yeah.
And you have some growth plans. Would you be willing to discuss those at this time?
Sure.
Okay. Is it true you're going to really get the laundromat?
I hope so. Well, like many of you know, the former laundromat was seized for back taxes by the county, and it came up for public auction in April. So we kind of jumped on it and started this very ambitious fundraising campaign to raise enough money for the opening bid. And the opening bid at the time was $164,000. that was the amount that was owed in back taxes. So through magic and a dedicated community and a really highly functioning positive board, and with the guidance of Kim Alderman, we raised a lot of money in 2.5 months. It was really amazing. So we went to the auction and we were ready. So if somebody else bid, we were going to bid and trying to get it that way. Well, nobody bid and we didn't either. So now it's gone into kind of a second phase where we have submitted a bid to the county for a less amount, and we're waiting for the legislature to approve that in June, at their June 19th meeting. And we're optimistic that that's what's going to happen. So the vision is that once we own it, once it's ours, that we'll tear the building down and that we'll build a LEED certified green building, completely energy efficient. We feel really strongly about that because, especially since the town passed their resolution in 2007 to be carbon neutral, we really want to participate in that program, and we want the building itself to actually be an educational model for green building. You know, we kind of, some of us were talking about little cutouts in the walls so you can see the insulation, or, you know, that kind of thing. And then it will be used as a community room and as a room for us to have our programs, and we envision having a kind of multimedia mobile lab so we can hold computer classes. And we want to use it for all those reasons because that's what people have been asking for. People call many times during the week asking to use the library's community room, which we don't have. So we let people use the library after we close, and just about every night it's being used by a different group. And while nothing bad has ever happened, it's really not an optimum situation, and it would be really great if we had a room that was actually handicap accessible, that had a small kitchen, that was, you know, a flexible space. And we could use it for our own programs, because right now, because we don't have a community room and groups are using the library after we close, if we want to have a special something, like we had a poets and writers workshop 2 years in a row, just hugely successful. Both times it had a waiting list, but because there wasn't really a place to meet, they all met in my office, which is fine, except it was 3 in the afternoon and then I had to go find somewhere else to be. So, you know, just feel like the community really deserves to have an appropriate space like that where we can do more of that. And then also people are always asking about computer classes, and we'd really like to offer that to the community.
Well, this town desperately needs meeting space, and if not meeting space, some type of small social space. I mean, it's just really an interesting thing that the firehouses around here have that space, but they're not all available to everyone.
Right.
So we, while the space is there, we really need space.
Right.
So now the library has a chance to provide this for our community.
And it fits in with our mission because it'll be free space, it'll be accessible space, and you won't have to buy anything to be in that space, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People say, well, you can just go to a coffee shop. Well, you can, but you also have to be a consumer when you're there. And in this kind of space, you can just be and socialize.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's really important.
Yeah.
I know that that I belong to a couple of organizations that we're constantly looking for a place where we can just just use a small space just for like a couple of hours,
Right.
you know.
Right.
I've several times thought, gee, maybe I'll just take all the furniture out of the living room and just, you know, put up some folding chairs and we'll just pretend, you know.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really like about the library is the fact that it is free. And do you still like loan equipment and things at no charge?
Yeah. Besides books and DVDs and all that normal stuff, we do have a projector that we loan to nonprofit groups or for a nonprofit event, and we have 2, and they're out almost constantly. Yeah. You know, I have to turn people away from using it. It's an expensive piece of equipment, but it's obviously a need that people have, you know, to give presentations or to show movies or stuff like that. Yeah.
You also are very generous, I think. Now, I may be wrong, but isn't your Wi-Fi on all the time?
Our Wi-Fi is on 24/7, 365. We love it when we leave work and there's people still sitting on the bench using the computers, or you come to work and people are already there using it. In the winter, they're sitting in their cars to stay warm and use it. It's wonderful. It's really wonderful.
I think that's so generous, and as a person who's kind of traveled, of course, now it's getting easier and easier. If you can find a Starbucks, you're okay. But I have traveled to different parts of the country, and on my way, getting from point A to point B, and point B being, days away, needing to use a computer, and you pull into the parking lot of something, and they've got Wi-Fi,
right,
but it's turned off. And I don't understand why people do that.
I think some people do it for security reasons.
What's security?
I don't know. I mean, when we first got Wi-Fi years and years ago, our computer guy insisted that we have a password on it, and we just had to say that goes against the whole library Wi-Fi experience,
Right.
Because if we were closed and somebody came on a Sunday, then they were out of luck. So now it's just open.
Right.
Yeah, and it's on all the time.
It would be really nice if other buildings in this community and in other communities across the country could take your example and run with it. Because I know that churches and libraries and community centers and all kinds of buildings and businesses, once you pay for it, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you use it 8 hours a day or 24 hours a day.
Right.
Come on, folks. Let's all, think about the public interest.
Right.
So, it seems like that in tough times, the library really becomes popular.
It is definitely true. In the past year, our circulation has gone up 12%, and our number of registered borrowers has gone up about 5%. So the library is becoming part of their consciousness as a place to go, and they're using us, and that's great. Our visits are up 3%, the number of people that come in and out of the doors. And we all feel it there, all of us that work there, that we're busy and we're seeing people we've never seen before, and people who are really excited about what we have. Not everybody grew up being a library user, so to go into a place and realize you can take out a stack of books like this and a stack of DVDs like this and go home, and then you're going to bring them back, it's pretty amazing. It's a really great, it's not lost on me what the spirit of the public library is. I think it's beautiful. So people are seeing that, and they're coming in.
I've noticed a change in the pantry, and you said something that possibly it's kind of spilling over everywhere, is something that's been happening in the pantry in the last year, because the economy really tanked 4 years ago, and it took until last year before people began to get it. And you say that in the last year you've had this surge. It's like it took us, this, our country, our population, about 3 years to finally realize, okay, this is how we live now. We go to the library.
Right.
And this is better for us because we have, we don't have to spend the money. And because it's better for our country at large to do this.
Right.
This is more frugal. This is the way we should have been living all this time.
Right.
So I'm hoping that if our economy ever does get better, that people will continue to use the library. That's what I'm hoping.
Right. That we've learned that sharing resources is more efficient and sustainable, and it's also how we create community. Right? Because people are coming into the library, and since we don't have a grand union, there's a lot of meeting and greeting and checking in and people making connections and making friendships, and we're getting a lot of people in who are looking for jobs because, as we all know, many places now when you want to apply for a job, you have to do it online. And really not everybody has the internet and the computer at home, and not everybody is comfortable using that. So we've helped a lot of people fill out online applications for using the computer for the first time, filling out applications for Panera, Home Depot, or wherever, and that's a new group of people that we're seeing, which is, we're happy to be there to provide that service, because otherwise if we're not there, where's that going to happen? There's not like an internet cafe in town or a Kinko's or something. So
Well, even if you had an internet cafe, would you have a person to show somebody?
you would not have Jessica, Thomas, or Linda, or Pia there to help you. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. We offer, because we don't have formal computer classes because of space and time, everybody on the staff is really committed to a lot of one-on-one help. And I always found that since we were limited by that way, that if I made an appointment with somebody and had a one-on-one 20-minute kind of thing, that people can get a lot out of that and get their questions answered and get comfortable. So there's a lot of instruction that we do that's not formalized, but is life-saving, really. And everybody's really patient and nice.
Well, and every time I go into the library, it's filled. The computers are all full. Everybody's busy.
Yeah. We have 8 public access computers. 6 of them are set up so you can have an hour at a time. And if nobody's waiting, you can have a second hour up to 2 hours a day. And then we have 2 machines that are 15-minute computers that are just for quick checking email or putting a boarding pass or whatever's happening. And oftentimes we have a waiting list of people waiting. And certainly on Tuesday mornings there's people waiting at the door because we've been closed, Sunday and Monday.
Wow.
So, yeah, very busy. And if we had more space, we would definitely put more computers in.
Are the computers, when you get more space, we all, it's going to happen. Somehow it's going to happen because it must.
Right.
It's going to happen. That's
critical.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So, is getting computers a difficult thing?
You mean paying for them?
Or just getting them? Do
it's-
people offer them to you? Do you?
We've never had donated computers. We have a rotation schedule for our technology, so every year in our budget we plan to replace and upgrade a certain amount and keep them all, up to date and stuff like that. We haven't taken any donated computers. Usually we can't get it clean enough or, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have any ideas or statistics on actually how much money a person can save by using the library?
Yes, actually, there's this thing on our website that I'll show you later called the Library Value Calculator, where you can put in what you do at the library every week or monthly. Say you get one hardcover book a month for a year, and then it calculates how much money the library is saving you based on what you do. You can also put in your computer use time, program time. We have magazines and newspapers, so it's as simple as come to the library and read our daily Freeman instead of buying it every day or having a subscription. We have a gentleman who just realized that we have the New York Times, that we get it every day, and he said, that's so great, that's saving me hundreds of dollars every year. And he comes in every morning and he reads it, and it's part of our daily rhythm, and it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. So I'll show you that library value calculator at the end. It's really astonishing.
Yeah, because if he gets to read the New York Times, he only has to buy it 2 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're open 5.
Right.
You're open 5, so
Right.
that's something.
Right.
So how difficult is it to use the library?
We try to make it as easy as possible. To check out books and DVDs and other material and to use our online stuff, you need to have a library card with a barcode on it and a PIN number. And that's easy enough to get. You just need to come in and fill out the registration form and show a proof of address. You don't have to live in Woodstock. We can issue a card if you live anywhere in the Mid-Hudson Library System, which is 5 counties and 66 libraries. So you can come to Woodstock if you live in Highland, if you just happen to be there, and you can get the card. Same is true for Saugerties. And so once you have that, then you have access to like 2 million items that are within the whole system. Because if there's something that you want that we don't own, we can get it for you through the catalog or by other means. So it's really, you're not just limited to what's inside our physical building, it's the whole system.
So what you're saying is, you use the example of Highland. If a person lives in Highland and they happen to find themselves in Woodstock and they've got some time,
Yeah.
they can come to the library, they can check out a book,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can go back to Highland and they can drop that book off at the...
Correct.
Wow,
Correct.
that's fabulous.
But if you, I don't know where Highland, why that came into my mind, but if you already have a card from somewhere else, then you can just come into the Woodstock Library and you don't have to get a new card for each library.
Right.
One card for the whole system.
So you have it, one card works for 5 counties.
Correct.
Wow,
66 libraries.
that's a
There's
lot.
a delivery system that Mid-Hudson Library System runs that goes between all the libraries. It's just what they do all day. So we get delivery 5 days a week of, bins of stuff that people are requesting from other libraries to pick up in Woodstock, or things that are being returned to us that were dropped off at other libraries.
So you actually have a guy that's driving around all over the place, taking
They have
stuff,
more than a guy. Lots of guys and a couple gals too. Yeah.
going all over.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a charge associated with that service, and that's a charge that the library has decided to absorb. When things got really tight, once Mid-Hudson was upping, first they started doing the delivery charge, and then the charge was going to go up. And for a while, some libraries were considering charging back, charging the patron for that service. And we felt really strongly in Woodstock that is against our mission and what we're doing, and that we would use our budget to absorb that cost, so people wouldn't be limited in accessing things they wanted, and it wouldn't, become a matter of money. Everybody's still getting the same service.
Wow. So, what are things that people do you need a card? What I'm asking now is, do you need a card to bring your children or your grandchildren to the story hour?
No. You don't need a card to attend any of the programs. You don't need a card or money to attend any of the programs. The children's programs, the library forum, any of that stuff, everyone's welcome.
You just need a card to check out books.
If you want to check out books or DVDs, if you want to use any of our online databases, we now offer downloadable ebooks. So for people who have a Nook or a Kindle or some other device, we subscribe to this service called Overdrive, where you can download ebooks for free. You're borrowing them; they expire off your device after your checkout period. But we also
So there's no overdue.
No, there's no overdue. The Woodstock Library doesn't charge overdue fines.
But if you did on a Kindle, there is no overdue.
There is still no overdues. Right. That's why other people like it, who come from libraries that charge fines. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you have a Kindle, it's really free.
It's really free for that period.
Right.
Right. You're borrowing it for, a week or 2 weeks is the circulation usually.
How does that work? You take your Kindle in?
With every device is a little bit different. So most of them have to be associated with a computer. So it's best if you do it at home the first time to set up that relationship. Amazon has been late in coming to participating with libraries. So each of their devices works a little differently, and you have to have an Amazon account to download the Kindle version through the library, and there's a couple more steps. Some of the ones, they're just all different. So I'll show you on the website, there's a help screen that explains what you have to do with each different device, if it's an Android or an iTouch or a Nook, if it's a Kindle, that kind of thing. It's very exciting technology.
It is very exciting technology. My husband received a Kindle as a gift, and he absolutely adores it. And then I received a Kindle as a gift, and I am looking at it.
Considering it.
It's like,
Yeah.
where is the paper? How do I turn the pages? Right. So I'm much more old-fashioned than my spouse.
You get used to it. I never thought I'd be able to read a book off a device, but now I can read a book off my, handheld iTouch. and it's fine. It's just getting used to it.
Oh, God. So we are going to see the website in a few minutes. I think we still have some more time before the website. Is that where you go to find out information about the library? You go to the computer?
Yes, well, we have our calendar on there, and we list our upcoming events on our website, woodstock.org. That's the best way. You can call on the phone and ask what's going on. Also, we're starting to list our events also in the Woodstock Chamber of Commerce and Arts website on their calendar, kind of integrate into the town, and also on the Watershed Post calendar. I don't know if you've seen that site, but they have a lot of really great local news about the area, and they keep a community calendar as well.
Do you ever, what do you announce in the Woodstock Times? Do you ever announce anything in the Woodstock Times?
The forums that happen 3 Saturdays a month at 5 o'clock, those are always announced in the Woodstock Times. Special story hours are announced, and if we have a special writing program coming up or a poetry workshop, they're announced in there. We were working with Mike from the fire company doing the defensive driving classes, where, you know, we were taking the registration stuff at the library, but it was being held at the fire company because they, like you said, have really great space. That kind of thing is listed in the Woodstock Times also, as well as our website.
How often do the defensive driving classes happen?
Well, we've only had 2 so far. It might be time to gear up for another one because we get a very long list of people who are interested, and I think we could keep filling the classes. So maybe in a couple months, if Mike's ready, I'm ready.
So if somebody's thinking about taking a defensive driving class, they need to call up and get on the list?
Wait until we announce that the class is scheduled, and then call up and get on the list. I know that once we have the classes set up, that also shows up on the AARP website. So that's another place people could get that when there's one ready to go. Yeah.
Wow. Oh God, the AARP website. You know, it's this all of these computer websites. What does a person do if they're really old and decrepit and they're not computer literate?
Come to the library and ask us for help.
Come and beg. Please
we'll
help
take
me
you
get
through
in.
it step by step. Yeah.
Please help me get into 2012.
Right.
Well, you know, if you come to the library and you don't have a computer, you're going to save a lot of money. Computers
That's true.
are not cheap.
No, they're not cheap, and paying for internet access isn't cheap either. So, and we have that also.
Now, can you watch movies at the library?
You could, except you might not get to watch the whole thing. On our public computers, you mean? Because you get an hour at a time. Nobody's waiting, you can get an additional hour, but that's a little iffy. If people are willing to take that risk, then they could do that.
Do you have movies at the library?
We have a large DVD collection that just gets larger and larger every day. And like I said, if we don't have something people want, we can get it from another library in the system. We have books on CD. We still have some videos because the VHSs are still going out. We've just started our music CD collection. Right now there's a lot of classical, but we plan on building that up in the years to come. We have the downloadable ebooks, and we also have downloadable audiobooks to listen to. So that's another thing that the library offers for free.
Well, and when you say we have the downloadable ebooks and we have the downloadable audiobooks, I think what you're really telling me is that we refers to all of the libraries.
Right. The Mid-Hudson Library System libraries is the big we. Yeah.
So that you're really far more powerful than this gentle older building that's on the main
right.
street.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the looks are deceiving.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's really why there's not a need for more shelf space. There's a need for meeting space because the shelf space is perpetual. You can get anything you want.
Right, right. That's another value of sharing all the resources. Yeah.
How long has that been in effect?
sharing between the libraries.
Yeah.
That's what a library system does. That's always happened. The process of getting the material to and from the library has changed. Right now it's really patron driven. You don't have to wait for a librarian to fill out a form and put it in the box, and now you can go online yourself and do it in the middle of the night and that kind of thing. So it's patron initiated. We don't have to be as involved in it. Although we're happy to do it for you if you don't want to learn the computer. But that really also has increased the usage a lot because people can do it on their own from wherever they'd like and whenever they like.
What card system do you use?
Card system?
Mm-hmm. To try if a person is going to look for a book, do you use the Dewey Decimal System?
Yes, we still use the Dewey Decimal System. I mean, the Dewey Decimal System is a classification system.
Right.
So that just is a way of putting like things together and then being able to find them.
Right.
But it's all on the computer. The catalog itself is on the computer. There's
so
no
you don't
more,
have that
no,
anymore. That's
only
gone.
in our dreams. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, we haven't had a print card catalog in quite a while.
Like decades.
Quite a while. Yeah.
Well, I can. What can I say? I mean, it's just my age. That's the way it goes.
I have very warm feelings about the old. That's
Yeah.
how I started. Yeah. Yep.
We really are. The days of the books are gone. They really are. They're. Now that we have these little guys, and libraries are going to smell totally different.
Right. Not as musty and dusty.
Right.
Right. I really don't think the days of the book are gone. Book circulation keeps increasing, and I think the biggest challenge for the modern library is to offer traditional library stuff like books and then keep pace with the technology and figure out how to do all those things with pretty much the same budget. That's really the challenge, but I don't books aren't going to be gone in my lifetime, I don't think. We still buy books. We still buy quite a few
Right,
books.
and they're going to last. But still,
Yeah.
I mean, I can see the library of the future, something maybe the size of this table, holding what used to be, in the whole.
Yeah, definitely.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, but I think also what's changing is that people are looking to the library, like we were talking before, to be that community center, to provide that space and to provide that kind of environment, When I was in library school, everybody was always talking about how the library's place was dead. It was all going to be online, just like you said, and everybody's going to have everything on their computer and never go to the library. And now it's just gone completely opposite, and all we're really talking about in the library world is providing community space for the community to grow and to communicate with each other and, to create knowledge together and make society better. That's really what we're working on now.
Well, I think it all boils down to, for me, it boils down to communication. Because if one is a hermit, one can enjoy this machine and you never have to leave the confines of your home. But we are not.
Right.
We are communal creatures. So going to the library to read the New York Times is important for reasons beyond the money.
Right.
Yeah. And going to the library to hear music or to take your children and to play and that sort of thing. It's something that's important.
Yeah, with the children's programs, I mean, it's for the kids, but it's also for the parents. I mean, sometimes at story hour, you have to shush the parents because they're so excited to be with other parents and, talk to another adult. It's really providing two social scenes, for the kids and for the adults. Yeah. And as far as, we see it happen every day. People coming in, somebody's reading the New York Times, somebody else is in the back using the wireless, and they get talking, and it's just, they're making connections, and it's lovely.
Yeah, that's very important. And in this town, it's very interesting too, because I keep hearing from people. There are, for example, congregations that have no Sunday schools. They have no church schools. And people talk to me all the time as if there were no children in Woodstock. Woodstock is packed with kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what kind of vacuum do they live in,
Right.
you know?
Yep. We see a lot of kids. Yep.
We are. I mean, Woodstock is going to be around for the future,
Mhm.
unless the kids all up and leave,
Mm-hmm.
which they
Right.
may have to if they want jobs. I mean, that's something that we do have to consider,
Mm-hmm. That's true.
you know, the employment situation.
Make sure they have a reason to stay. Or
Right.
that they could stay. Yeah.
You talked earlier about people coming in to apply for jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any activity in the library to help people find jobs?
The activity right now is really the one-on-one interaction with the library staff. We have a job resource center on our website that has more information than you'd ever want about careers, about changing careers. There's different classes. There's a whole resume building system that we can walk you through. We have a database that has all those educational testing. If you decide you want to go take the test for corrections officer, postal worker, instead of paying for those books, you can access that online and do the practice tests. We have another database that has, you know, it asks you questions and then you answer about what kind of career might be for you while you're in a transition period. So it's really the one-on-one interaction with the staff where we can help you get through that. But that's really all there is right now.
Are you hearing any stories of people going on interviews?
We have heard of a couple people coming back and they say, thank you so much for helping me fill out that application. And, you know, it's not just filling out the application online, then the person also needs to have an email address because the company's going to email them back. And so then they have to come back again to check their email at the library. So we really develop, you know, lifelong users after that because they can see the value of what they're starting to learn there on the computer. Yes.
So have you gotten any stories of people getting jobs?
I haven't personally, but I'm in that situation now where I'm not on the front lines every day, so I miss out on really good stories like that sometimes. I'm sure it is happening, I just haven't heard about it.
Yeah, there have not been too many people at the pantry. Oh my goodness, we're running out of time. Okay.
Okay, what happens?
We better do the computer.
Okay.
This is very important. We
Yes.
probably should have done this first. After all the. Okay, so what's
Okay.
going to happen?
So we're gonna look at the library's website if all goes according to plan. Except, of course, now I can't get connected. So our website is woodstock.org, which is easy to remember.
Now, is Woodstock.org, is that also Como and the town hall?
No, the town is woodstockny.org, because I believe the library was the first to have a website, so we got that domain name. You know, unfortunately, I don't think this is going to work. It was working before. I don't want to take too much time trying to connect. I'm happy to answer any other questions you have while I do this.
What are you trying to do, my dear?
Get back on the...
You trying to get back online?
Yeah. I'm just going to try once, and if it doesn't work, then I will let it go. But on our website, woodstock.org, like I said, there's the calendar of all our events, and then there's also all the databases that I was talking about, mostly on the front page.
Oh, push it on the side. Yeah. Now it's gonna fire up. That's why it wasn't doing anything
Okay.
before.
Okay, let's see if this works. Right, so on our website, we have our calendar, we have our databases. There's also a place where you can, it's so hard to explain, I wish I could just show you. There's an icon for Overdrive, which is the place where you download the ebooks and the audiobooks. there's also that library value calculator, which is so interesting. I wish I
You
could.
download audiobooks?
You can
You
download.
don't check them out.
Well, we have audiobooks on CD, but you can also download audiobooks onto your device through the library's website,
Right.
through the icon that says Overdrive,
Wow.
which we're not going to be able to see, so I think I should just let it go. Nope, there it is. Okay, it's working. So here we are. And this I made the font very large. Right here in the center is where we have our, the events that are coming up. And here's the Job Resource Center I was talking about that has the different databases. There's a Job Now database that's an adult learning center that has the test preparations. There's job searching books that you can download. This is where you can take your practice tests for the, for the MCAT, the PSATs, the GRE, GEDs. This one does the career assessment, career tools, and resume building. And this is just a link to the Department of Labor where you can look for jobs in New York State. Now this down here is the downloadable audiobooks and ebooks that I was talking about. You need to have a library card to get in here. So that's right on our front page. And this is the library value calculator, which I'll just show you quickly. So up here, you punch in how often you visit the library, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. So let's just say I go to the library once a month. And once a month, I check out one hardcover book. And how about a movie? So my yearly benefit already is $252. The monthly benefit is $21. If I didn't go to the library and I just purchased these things, I would pay out of pocket $21 or $252 a year. And that's pretty minimal library usage. I mean, that's one book and one video per month. So feel free to cancel your subscription to Netflix and come to the library. I mean, that's a good way to save also.
Yes, it is.
And the price of books is pretty shocking. Here's our Facebook page. I'm always in pursuit of getting more likes and more friends, so go there if Facebook is something that you do.
How many friends do you guys have?
I think we're up to 347, 361.
300. How long have you had your Facebook page?
We've had it for quite a few years, actually. We've had it used to be different. Now for a while you followed people and then you were a fan, but now you like things. So
Right.
It's been a couple of years. So that's there. We also list all of our events on the Facebook page. And what else did I want to show you? There's so many things on here. It's just really endless. I want to show you the calendar up here, which has our story hours and the library forums. We have an adult book discussion that happens the second Friday of the month at 3 o'clock. Library board meetings are listed on here. Here's, this was actually yesterday when there was a book sale from 4 to 7.
Are your board meetings open to the public?
Yes, yep. All meetings are open to the public. They happen the third Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. and everyone's welcome to attend. We have a local links page back here, which has local organizations, the town, which is Woodstock, NY, the Chamber, the Artists Association, the Fire District, the Good Neighbor Food Pantry, the Center for Photography. This is the part of this is Friends of the Library. And if you click here, you get the book sale schedule that I was talking about, which goes through the year. And you can also get information about the Friends. What was the other thing I wanted to show you? Oh, this is the Public Library Catalog. And this is the place where you go to get access to all the libraries in the Mid-Hudson Library System. 5 counties, 66 libraries. So from here, this is where you'd search for something that you want to borrow. And if we don't have it, this is how you order things to be sent to the library. So I'll just show you quickly if you type in a title that you want, and it's searching the whole system, and then from here, this is kind of awkward, you can see what the format is. You can see if it's a book on CD or if it's a book on cassette, large print, regular book. So say I wanted this book, I would click on the title and then hit request. And then from here, it's going to ask you for your library barcode and your PIN number, which you need to have here. And then when you hit submit, the library that owns it's going to get a message. They're going to pull it from their shelf. They're going to put it in the bin, and it will show up at the Woodstock Library for you. So this is very powerful. There's access to so many things. And also at our library, if it's not in the Mid-Hudson Library system, we go outside of the system. So we can go national to get things, books or movies or whatever you're looking for. And not everybody does that, but that's something that we do. Takes a little longer, but it's a really great resource because we can get it from college libraries or New York Public or the State Library.
So if a person's doing research, you really have access to everything.
Yes, yeah. It's pretty amazing. The whole, just libraries working together on a national level, all different kinds, public and academic. Yep. We have quite a few patrons who are doing pretty serious research that get a quality of service that you'd more expect from an academic library, with that kind of going out of the system to do interlibrary loan and get obscure titles or.
Well, and for trying to get a grant, if you're going to do research to try to get a grant,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't use a library, it can cost hundreds.
Right. Yeah. The Foundation Center database, we get some shared things on a county level. So we don't all have access to that particular database, but if you go to the Kingston Library with your library card, they have access to that database, which is hugely expensive. I mean, that's something that an individual or even an organization on its own couldn't afford.
Right.
But that's there for everybody. You have to go to Kingston.
Are we out of time? Well, I had a great fun having you
too.
here. It was a good hour, and thank
Thanks.
you so much.
Thank you.
Is that it, my dear?
Yeah, why don't you say again about Star?
Okay, Star's not going to be here tonight, but she will be back next week. Please send Star your love, send her meditations of positive feelings. She's taking care of some relatives, and she will be back next week. And Star is such a precious person. And thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here this evening. And it was a pleasure to have you, Miss.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And if anybody has any library questions, call me 679-2213 or email me at amy@woodstock.org. Thank you.